Next on Worcester News tonight, 1 year after a tornado rips through central Massachusetts, a look at how businesses are recovering. Plus, 2 mass shootings in less than 24 hours. Local leaders are pushing for laws to prevent gun violence in the country. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemmon. A gorgeous start to the work week across parts of central Massachusetts, but the humidity is set to return and there's a chance of rain tomorrow. Let's get a first look at our local forecast for more.
Hey, good evening. I'm meteorologist Pamela Gardner. We have a beautiful forecast for this evening as temperatures will stay in the 70s through 7 o'clock, 66 degrees by 9, dry air in place. It was a gorgeous day across Worcester County and we had plenty of sunshine. A few clouds will roll through 11 o'clock down to 64 degrees and tonight we'll stay in the 60s, 62 degrees in Fitchburg. More clouds the farther south and east you go, and the wind increases from the south-southeast. That'll help to brush in a little bit of that humidity for tomorrow. So changes on the way, and tomorrow's highs in the low to mid 80s across central Massachusetts, 80 degrees Worcester, 84 degrees in Fitchburg. And so as the changes move in for Tuesday, humidity increases and it continues to increase with tropical air in place for both Wednesday and Thursday as well. Storms also possible Tuesday through Thursday. I'll show you the hour-by-hour timing coming up in your exclusive 10-day forecast.
All right, thank you, Pamela. 2 mass shootings over the weekend, one in Texas, the other in Ohio. The death toll in El Paso has risen to 22. President Donald Trump saying our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy. Locally, Congressman Jim McGovern says there needs to be more of a change. Our Brittany Schaefer is live in Worcester now with the latest. Brittany.
Olivia, McGovern says he is angry and heartbroken over the shooting, saying Washington needs to step up and make stricter gun laws.
Enough with the thoughts and prayers. It's time for action.
Congressman Jim McGovern is demanding change following the mass shootings in El Paso and Dayton.
The House of Representatives passed a universal background check bill over 150 days ago. Mitch McConnell's not done a damn thing. He ought to reconvene the Senate and at least pass that.
The House of Representatives passed a bill which would require a background check for most firearm transfers. A second bill would extend the amount of days a firearm dealer must wait for a response from the background check system from 3 days to 10. Both bills passed in February, but the Senate hasn't taken action.
Expanded universal background checks would protect a lot of lives. I mean, we know that for a fact. We also passed a bill that closed the so-called Charlestown loophole, which enabled Dylan Roof to be able to obtain a firearm, and he went out and killed all those people in that church in South Carolina. That's not going to solve all the problems, but that's a step in the right direction.
Dr. Erica Smith is the chair of the political science program at Nichols College. She says the Bill of Rights was written in 1791, but in 2008, the Second Amendment was changed.
In 2008, we had a really important Supreme Court case where they overturned a DC ban on handguns. And they said, no, instead, we want to read this as an individual right and expand individual protections under the Second Amendment.
Smith says she doesn't think any monumental legislation will happen following the shootings, but there could be some steps towards stricter gun laws.
I think if the president comes out with perhaps some strong leadership and some concrete recommendations, perhaps we could see Republicans in the Senate coming together with Democrats in the House to pass something that maybe most Americans agree on, like universal background checks.
McGovern says hopefully those 2 bills will pass in the next few months. Then he would like to see a ban on semi-automatic weapons. Live in Worcester, Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
A year ago this month, an EF1 tornado touched down in parts of central Massachusetts. Businesses and residents in Webster and Dudley dealt with the aftermath for months, but many say they would not have been able to get back on their feet if it weren't for the community support. Our Erin Keating spoke with Business Today and has more on their rebuilding efforts.
New floors are in place at the Dancer's Soul. It's been 1 year since an EF1 tornado tore through the dance studio in downtown Webster, causing serious damage.
Our upstairs studio space was completely gutted. The roof came off and we had to do a complete renovation. We lost some of our front windows. We had some water damage, and then we have a storage facility in our basement that had some damage as well.
Winds reached up to 110 miles per hour. The tornado caused many businesses to shut down for renovations. Studio owner Kristen St. Laurent says although they were able to relocate to a temporary location in Oxford, they couldn't have done it without community support.
Both the Webster community and the community within our business itself was great. People had fundraisers. They donated what they raised. They split it among a handful of the businesses that were affected and gave it back to us.
2 buildings were torn down due to storm damage, and not every business came back. Town Administrator Doug Willardson says Webster has since completed a hazardous mitigation plan to prepare for an event like this. He's proud of the town's response.
It was all hands on deck, and the police and fire departments were great, as well as our highway department, getting out there and cleaning everything up. So I was actually very satisfied with the response, and if we can do that again at another natural disaster, I'd be very happy.
Next door to the dance studio, Tri-Town Travel says it took them longer to get back on their feet. The tornado destroyed the travel agency's roof, forcing the business to shut down for more than a month. Clerk Elizabeth Tarasiak says surrounding businesses came together to help.
We're still recovering, but we tried to help each other. I think everyone responded accordingly. It was done well.
When they say your life can change in a blink of an eye, that certainly is a true statement. The community really came together. It was nice to see.
A year later, and some of the buildings are still boarded up. The town administrator says in the next couple of weeks, more information will be given about what's going to happen to them. In Webster, Erin Keating, Worcester News Tonight.
An update on an investigation in Blackstone. A teen is now facing several charges for shooting and killing a cat with an arrow. Police say the teen shot the cat last week on Old Mendon Road. The cat was later euthanized due to its injuries. Police tracked down the 17-year-old suspect after receiving tips from several residents. Neighbors we spoke to last week called the crime upsetting.
I think that's horrible. Why would anybody ever want to do anything like that to a poor defenseless animal? I can't imagine.
Considering I have 3 cats, I think that's absolutely disgusting. I hope the person gets prosecuted to the full extent.
And the teen will be summoned to juvenile court to face the charges. 4 flags are set to travel across the country before they're gifted to Team USA boxing Olympic athletes. One of the flags is currently at the Auburn Fire Department. The flags will fly over first responder agencies in all 50 states. Auburn firefighter Travis Parisi received the flag from the National Honor Guard Academy. It's part of the U.S. flag relay. The U.S. boxing team will take the flags to Tokyo in 2020.
One of the alumnus of the academy brought a flag in and said, hey, this is part of the U.S. flag relay, which is an initiative to fly 4 flags in each 50 states and headed over to Tokyo. So there's 3 other flags. So to complete each state, if you go on their website, you'll see to complete the state, you have to fly 4 at a public safety department. So fire, police, EMS.
And the flag at the Auburn Fire Department will be dropped off at the Auburn Police Department next. A crash in Spencer is under investigation. Police say a car became wedged under a gasoline tanker truck on Main Street early Sunday morning. The woman driving the car suffered only minor scratches and declined to be taken to the hospital. The driver of the tanker was not injured. The fire department says no fuel leaked from the truck. The Palladium in Worcester is expanding to a new concert space outside the venue. They first hosted a concert outside last summer and another earlier this year. Manager Chris Besaw says the outdoor concert space allows thousands of people to enjoy a show. The space is in a parking lot behind the building, owned by Worcester Railers Hockey Club owner Cliff Rucker, who has a 25% stake in the Palladium. The Palladium has 2 more shows planned outdoors this month. An iconic street sign in Worcester is missing for the 2nd time in a little over a year. The Lois Lane street sign marks the lane sitting between That's Entertainment and Elk Park Auto. Owners of That's Entertainment posted on their Facebook page saying it's a meaningful and integral aspect of their business. It's a salute to the character of Lois Lane, the love of comic book hero Superman's life. That's Entertainment says the sign was taken sometime Friday or early Saturday morning. As of earlier today, it still had not been returned. The sign was also taken last July during construction in the area. It was recovered in early August 2018. Worcester Summer Restaurant Week kicks off today and more than 40 restaurants are participating. Restaurants will offer a special discounted 3-course meal menu for only $25.19. Organizers say the purpose of Restaurant Week is for customers to be able to have a full meal without spending a ton of money. Each restaurant typically offers an appetizer, first course and entree course with multiple options. They say it also helps bring in revenue for businesses in the area.
There's a great trickle down to these things because, not only does the restaurant make money, but the servers make money, the linen companies make money, the valet companies make money. We put about 50,000 people in seats during these 2 weeks in restaurants.
And for a list of participating restaurants and their menus, you can visit WorcesterRestaurantWeek.com. If you plan on dining out during the state sales tax holiday this month, you still have to pay the 6.25% on Massachusetts meals tax. Last week, Governor Charlie Baker asked the legislature to restore the meals exemption, which they did. Restaurants were unclear about how to administer a tax break. The sales tax holiday is August 17th and 18th.